Hey everyone, so I kind of wanted to make this video to kind of like share a little bit about how I found out I was pregnant, was it a planned pregnancy, and some of my earliest symptoms. I kind of want to make this because I want to share a little bit. I just want to share it with you guys, and also I kind of want to start documenting my pregnancy. It is my first pregnancy and I am excited about it, so I want to document it and come back to it later if I decide to do so. So that is why I'm making this video. So Jason and I had been taking birth control for 3 years. So ever since we got married, so May of 2016. And, every year I was going to refill my prescription. So this May of 2019 came up and I needed to go refill my prescription. The thing was that it was a hassle because we were getting ready to go on our vacation and I was I work. So it was like, having to set the time apart to go to the gynecologist and like get a prescription for birth control. And so I sat down with Jason and we talked about it. And, he told me that, maybe if I just stopped taking it, it would, be fine, because we had also heard like a lot of things about birth control, like some of the long-term effects, how it may cause like some fertility issues and stuff like that. And because I was already like a very irregular person with periods, I figured that it would just like up my chances of, infertility. So we agreed and we were like, okay, so we'll stop taking it. And I figured, because of all of these things together, I was like, it should take me about maybe 2 years to get pregnant. So by that time I would be like 24, 25. And, 2 years gives us enough time to like prepare for a lot of things, right? We've done a lot in 3 years. So I figured 2 years, we could do a lot. So, I figured that would be fine. Well, that's not how it was. So May passed and then June passed and I didn't have a period. And even before, because I had very irregular periods, like there would be months where I would like go maybe like 2 months without a period, and this was on the pill. So like every time that I'd miss a period, I would always take a pregnancy test. And even though I was on the pill, like I would still take a pregnancy test just to be 100% sure, because I did not want there to be like any issues later on. So this happened again and I was like, okay, let me take a pregnancy test. And so I did in June and it came back negative, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm good, don't have to worry about it. So then July comes and it was around like July 20th when I started to like have cramps, and they were really bad cramps too, like worse than, like my period cramps were already like bad, but these were really bad. So I remember like they lasted for a week and I was like, okay, they'll go away and my period's about to come. Well, a week passed and I was still having cramps. And so I was like, this is really weird, because why am I still having cramps and I'm not having a period? So I waited like another week and the cramps were like getting really bad too. Like I remember one night I told Jason, I was like, look, if it feels like this in the morning, we're probably gonna have to go to ER because this hurts really bad. And I feel like I have a high pain tolerance, so for me to say that, like, it was serious. And then, obviously the first thing I did, I went to Dr. Google. And so I Googled, why am I having periods but no cramps? And the first thing that comes up is an ectopic pregnancy or a tubal pregnancy. This means that like the little egg, it fertilizes, but it fertilizes on your fallopian tube. So that would mean that would be a really bad thing. And so like me having cramps could have also been that like it was on that tube, and that can't happen. They have to terminate those type of pregnancies because, otherwise it causes like internal bleeding and then I could die. So I was like, oh my God, I could die. So like I was like really scared, because why am I still having cramps but no period? And like this is telling me it could be an ectopic pregnancy and I could die, right? Thanks, Google. So I took a pregnancy test because I was like, okay, well, let me take a pregnancy test. But I didn't think, like I was so used to seeing like negative pregnancy tests because I'd been taking them for like, like a normal thing, every time. And so I was just like so used to like getting the stick and then looking at it and it being negative. And so this time I went and bought them and I remember I told Jason too, I was like, okay, I'm like, when this one comes back negative, I'm going back on the pill because first of all, I don't like the way this feels. I hate like being really scared about being pregnant and like worrying about if I am. And I was just like, so after this comes back negative, I am going back on the pill. And he was like, okay, fine. So we go and get the pregnancy test, come home, and it was night, it was already like late. And you know, he goes to bed. And so I go and take the test and I put it down, and then I think I was washing my face or something. And I come back and look at it and I'm like, you know, completely normal because like I was so used to seeing negative always on it. So I go and look at it and it says positive. I was like, okay. And I think I kind of like went in a little shock because I was like, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this. So I put the pregnancy test to the side, and we had bought the box that came with 2 of them. So I was like, okay, I'll wake up in the morning and, you know, I'll take the other pregnancy test, and hopefully, you know, like my pH levels have changed by that time and the test will come back normal, you know, negative. So go to bed and, you know, I'm like, I'm not gonna worry about it. And so the next morning I wake up, take the test, and I put it to the side and, you know, get ready and everything. And I come back and it still says positive. So I'm like, oh my goodness, am I ready for this? And I think that's like one of the biggest questions that we ask ourselves. At least I did, you know, I was just kind of like so scared. And this is me being like a married woman, like with my own house, you know, like, and I'm not saying that other people that, you know, don't have that, like aren't ready, but there's no reason for me to like complain or be scared. And I was still very scared. And then I got more scared because I was like, what if this is an ectopic pregnancy? Because the tests are coming back positive. So that means there is something there and I'm having cramps, right? So I didn't tell Jason, and Jason didn't ask me until like the next day, right before bed. And he's like, hey, you know, what happened with the tests? Honestly, like, I think I kind of felt that if I denied it, like it wasn't gonna be true. So I was just like, oh, they came back like always. And he looked at me and he's like, let me see it. So I go and get the 2 pregnancy tests, and as soon as I give it to him and he sees it, he just like gets this huge smile on his face, and I'm just like, why are you smiling? Like, this is not, like, I don't know, like I wasn't like excited at the moment. I think I was still in shock, and I'm like, why are you smiling? So, you know, he was excited, and I was like, okay, you know, now we need to figure out what we're gonna do. No, it wasn't a planned pregnancy. Although we were ready in a way, like we weren't against it. You know, when we talked about it, it's like, you know, Jason told me, it's like, if it happens, you know, we're fine. But it wasn't really in my plans, it wasn't. Like, I honestly thought it was gonna take me 2 years to get pregnant. And that's not how it was. But like I said, it wasn't something that we didn't feel like we were gonna be prepared for. Obviously, there's so many things to pregnancy rather than just 9 months and then popping out a baby, like, you know, insurance and all these other things that we had to deal with like after finding out, because there were things that we just didn't know. No one ever really talked to us about it. It just wasn't as easy, and maybe it was just for me, like I was just stressing with so many things, or I felt like there were so many things that I was stressing about. But yeah, that's how I found out. We didn't tell my family till about a month later because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't an ectopic pregnancy, because if it was, then I didn't want to get too excited about it either, because I was like, you know, I didn't like the fact that I was having cramps, and they were really, really bad cramps. So I just didn't really want to tell anybody that we were expecting and then it come to be something bad. So I don't want to get my hopes up, I guess, in a way. But when I went to the clinic and they did the first ultrasound, it was so cute and it was moving, and you know, so they told us that everything looked pretty good. I think that's finally when it got real, and you know, we just, you know, we're really excited about it. That's kind of why I wanted to do this video, because I know I don't seem as excited about it, but I really am excited. You know, it is my first baby and I just want to enjoy it in a way, but I want to like document a little bit and maybe go back and rewatch some things later, and you know, just share it with you guys on the way. So, but yeah, that's how I found out that I was pregnant. So yeah, let me know if you guys like it. if you guys have any questions, or if there's anything I missed out or something that you guys wondering about me, obviously, that I can answer, let me know and I will try to answer you. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and I hopefully will keep you guys updated later with future videos.